About the State Board of Education assuming responsibility for the Bridgeport school system. Last week, Bridgeport City and school officials decided that they could not agree on key issues and they needed the state to step in. New appointments will be made by the state's Department of Education Commissioner, that's George Coleman, which has many Bridgeport parents unhappy. They believe that their democratic voice has essentially been taken away since they won't be voting on this new panel. Some were even questioning the legality surrounding the move. So this morning, we're joined by radio talk show host Lisa Wexler to talk a little bit more about the move. Good to see you, Lisa.
Hi, good morning, Logan.
So what are your thoughts on this? The city of Bridgeport essentially taking over, or the state taking over the Bridgeport school system?
I think it was rather sudden. In other words, I don't think that there was adequate public hearing or notice. It's not like the problems of Bridgeport are new problems. It's not like this Board of Education invented the problems or is the first not to be able to solve them. So I was very surprised when I heard the news. And I understand Mayor Finch's argument, and I understand Superintendent Ramos's argument that they, and of course the head of the Board of Ed herself, that they have reached this impasse, if you will, and the children need a better leg up. But I don't see a game plan, and that concerns me.
So what do you think should have happened? Maybe a public meeting, maybe public comment, take it slow a little bit, let's get all of our ducks in an order before you just quickly make this change?
I'll tell you what I think. I think that, yes, there should have been at least one significant public hearing, but I also think that if the mayor and the governor's office and all these people behind the scenes are thinking there's a crisis, including the current head of the Board of Ed, there should be a game plan. We want in and we want out. Here are some goals that we're going to try and achieve. I don't see any of that here.
Yeah, is there a time frame, and if not, what do they have to reach in order to give the control back?
And also, Logan, I really think we have to step back and say that elected officials, maybe they didn't get along, maybe they weren't the best, but they were still elected by the people. They were shoved aside in an undemocratic process and appointed by someone in the governor. It smells a little bit. It does.
It happened in Hartford in the 90s for 5 years, and I don't know, Hartford schools aren't that fantastic right now. I mean, some are better than others.
Some may be better than others.
Magnet schools are doing very well.
But in terms of our achievement gap, Hartford and Bridgeport, unfortunately, are just about neck and neck. And in terms of lowest failing school districts, they literally are about neck and neck. So I'm not sure that the bragging about the 5 years of the state takeover in Hartford really 11 years later or so, it's accomplished all that much.
Will it cost any additional money to have this new board moved in versus having the old board remain?
From what I can see, Logan, it's all volunteer. Okay. But, and this is interesting, Wyndham, which is a much smaller school district of 3,400 students, is taken over by the state. That's the only one until Bridgeport that was, and they were given about $1 million. Hartford was certainly given money. Bridgeport is really struggling. They couldn't pass a budget because the budget would have called for huge restrictions and constrictions on their limited resources now. Without an offer of help by Dan Malloy's administration, maybe a new board can help somewhat, but maybe they also need some money. That's not currently clear.
Yeah. Are they asking for money?
At the moment, I don't think that they are, but I think that that will come.
Right. Do we know who's choosing the new board members and what their qualifications are?
Well, George Coleman has said publicly that he is going to be the person choosing them. He feels that he will choose people of quality, not necessarily from Bridgeport. And I think he's going to model this on the Hartford approach, which people think was successful for the limited time that it occurred.
Is it too late to maybe have some public opinion? He could choose the board and say, we want to hear what you think about it, and he could still appoint them or not appoint them, I suppose?
You know, it's not a bad idea, but it doesn't look like that's the direction they're headed in. Right. From what I can hear now, they think speed is of the essence.
Okay. Lisa, thanks.
Sure.
We'll remind everybody you can listen to Lisa on the radio Monday through Friday, 4 to 6, 1400 WSTC and 1350 WNLK. Lisa Wexler.